Well, welcome to the Weather Desk, everyone. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, here to track out today's top weather headlines with you on 13 News Now Plus. The Weather Desk happens every day, Monday through Friday, starting at 9 a.m., where we talk about the biggest weather headlines here in Hampton Roads, Virginia, which is southeastern Virginia, northeastern North Carolina, throughout the country, and sometimes even taken across the world to talk about some of the biggest weather headlines. Today, though, we are staying in the U.S. Let's talk about our weather headlines for today. Severe weather in Texas continues. We are going to be talking about the flooding that just happened and also some tornado damage that we have some videos of. So we'll talk more about what's happening there in the Deep South. Also watching for the wildfires that continue to rage in the Deep South as well. We're talking more towards the Atlantic, so Georgia, Florida. We'll talk about the impacts from that. Plus, speaking about high heat, we have extreme heat out west. I'll talk more about the areas near the Rockies seeing some of that higher heat. And then here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina, we're looking ahead to the weekend. Places around the area will see some rain for the weekend. I'll have the timing and which day will really shake out to be the better day of the two weekend days in my full forecast towards the end of this show. But first, we are going to start in Texas. The central U.S. has been dealing with days of severe weather. Right now, parts of Texas are still getting heavy rainfall. This is a look at the flooded roads near Austin, Texas. That's I-35, and if you look closely, some drivers were only just barely able to make it through that water. If you're ever driving in floodwaters, make sure and aren't sure if you can make it through, make sure that you remember this phrase: turn around, don't drown. You never want to put yourself in harm's way, or if you get stuck, you're also going to have to put the first responders in harm's way who would have to come and rescue you. Just look at that standing water. Now, staying in Texas, police officers pulled a family from a flooded car using jumper cables. Jeremy Roth has a look at the incredible rescue.
A tense and technically challenging rescue situation amid raging floodwaters forced Texas rescuers to get creative by getting jumper cables involved. Officers with the White Settlement Police Department responded to reports of a woman and 3 kids in a car trapped in rushing floodwaters. Rescuers got the children to safety, but the woman was trapped in the front of the car, which was teetering toward the fast-moving waters.
I need something to get wrapped around her.
A quick-thinking officer grabbed a pair of jumper cables and used them as an improvised lifeline, instructing the woman to anchor herself with the cables in case she was swept away. Fire officials soon arrived and pulled the vehicle back from the brink, and all 4 family members were brought to safety and unharmed. You know, it doesn't have to be full-on storming for there to be an imminent threat. Just take it from meteorologist Tyler Eliason of Tennessee, who shared video of a sudden lightning strike in a Memphis area parking lot. No one appeared to be harmed by the shocking turn of events, but Eliason used it to warn followers that sometimes lightning strikes can happen miles away from their parent thunderstorms. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
And that's very true. A lightning bolt can strike 10 miles away from the parent storm. That's why whenever you hear thunder roaring, you need to head indoors to avoid those threats. Now, we're going to be staying here in Texas, where you can see the rain continuing here, and a summer camp in Kerr County where 28 campers and 28 campers and counselors died in flooding last July is scrapping plans to reopen this summer. Camp Mystic is now withdrawing its application for a 2026 camp license. The announcement follows an investigation by Texas lawmakers, which found the camp had no real evacuation plan and waited too long to evacuate. Lawmakers had also urged the Eastland family, who runs the camp, to consider reopening. Now, we're going to take a quick break, but coming up in about 2 minutes, several brides in Texas are scrambling to make new plans after a tornado destroyed their wedding venue. We'll hear from them and have a closer look at that damage. Welcome back. We're going to stay in Texas where they've been hit very hard lately. A bride-to-be is scrambling to make new plans after a tornado destroyed her wedding venue. Mitty Hicks has a story.
You don't expect it to hit where you're going to be in 30 days.
Morgan Severa is getting married in a little over a month. We caught up with the bride-to-be in between several last-minute appointments.
Now we're frantic.
Frantic because looking for a new venue for more than 100 guests is the last thing she thought she would be doing so close to her wedding date.
My fiance, he's from Maryland, so his whole family already has flights and hotels, so we're trying our best not to have to change the date.
Morgan got a call from Covered Bridge venue staff telling her they had no choice but to cancel her wedding.
You could just hear the winds just whipping.
A tornado destroyed nearly everything.
That door that I showed that's 50 foot that way was right here.
This is all that's left, changing Morgan's plans.
We're in peak season, so this time of year we're going Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And the plans of dozens of other brides and grooms and their guests. But the owner counting his blessings. He had 2 events scheduled on the same day the tornado hit, but they canceled for unknown reasons.
The lives that were saved. I mean, that's where everybody would have been, dancing.
Brides like Morgan also thankful for a community supporting their biggest day.
The wedding community, the vendors, they're all reaching out. They're all trying to do their best to help.
A cross still stands amid the rubble, untouched at Covered Bridge venue.
It's a message that, hey, I got this. It's all right, and I mean, it always works out for the best.
In Springtown, I'm Mitty Hicks.
And again, we're very grateful that no one was hurt in that specific area or that specific building from that tornado. But about 30 minutes away from Springtown, another Texas town got hit hard by tornadoes. This is a look from the damage in Mineral Wells. The NWS, or the National Weather Service, confirms an EF3 twister touched down there on Tuesday. At least 5 people were hurt. This tornado follows 2 more that touched down in Parker and Wise counties over the weekend. Unfortunately, in those storms, 2 people did die. And of course, we were thinking about their friends and family as they grieve those losses. Now, speaking of the weather here in Texas, as you see, ongoing widespread rainfall from West Texas all the way through East Texas down into Houston as well. Speaking of San Antonio and Houston, we do have some active storm reports, and we'll just take this one here from San Antonio. These little storm reports, these are hail. That hail reports were coming out of Houston, some places as you head closer to San Antonio. But this flood report from Olmos Park, over 30 flooded roadways across Bexar County this morning, scattered from the north central to the southeast side of the county. So thinking about those people who are impacted this morning, that was reported around 8 a.m. Central Time, which was really just about a few minutes ago here local time. Around 9 a.m. So again, thinking about our friends in Texas who are dealing with the multiple days of severe weather. Right now, active alerts with severe thunderstorm warning just to this west of San Antonio. These are aerial flood watches, and then we had that flash flood warning there ongoing for San Antonio. Places around Texas and the Gulf Coast today are underneath a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather. Main threats are going to be damaging winds and hail. Also watching for some areas around southeastern Texas that may see some larger hail, and also an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. 2 massive wildfires are still burning in Georgia, but firefighters are getting closer to putting them out. We'll have a closer look at that progress. Welcome back. Firefighters in Georgia are making progress, but by putting out 2 massive wildfires across that area. The Pineland Road Fire, which sparked 1 week ago in Clinch County, has burned more than 32,000 acres and is now 38% contained. The Highway 82 fire in Brantley County has burned more than 22,000 acres and is 33% contained. Some Brantley County residents were able to return home yesterday after Highway 110 reopened. Joe Hennessy reports.
Cars are back on 110 West. Days after families living along the busy roadway were forced to leave everything behind.
It's always challenging, to see residents coming back home. I think there's a sense of relief if their house is there, and of course a really sense of loss if their house is not.
WTOC is one of the first to see the road open back up, led by the incident management team. Although we did not see any significant damage to the homes on the path we were allowed to take on Tuesday, the team confirmed several homes are damaged nearby.
We're here to do a job, and that's what we're focused on, but of course we do have in our hearts a lot of empathy for the residents.
We were told to not approach the neighbors as they maneuver this difficult time. Despite this positive step towards the right direction, crews continue to monitor the situation there in the woods, so these people might have to evacuate again.
The swamps, areas that are normally wet this time of year, are pretty dried out, so that a continued drought that's been going on has hampered some of the suppression efforts.
It's part of the active fire area, so if it does flare up, if the winds shift in this direction, then the residents will be asked to leave again.
More than 440 wildland firefighters, the structure management teams, and additional crews will be out on Wednesday to ensure safety for this neighborhood and the many others throughout the county.
We're here to help the public and hopefully get things back to normal as soon as possible.
It's a tragic situation, but I'm impressed at how the community here is pulling together and really helping each other.
And with that, I want to give you an update on the drought monitor here. As you see, most of the United States in some type of drought outside of the Midwest, which has been seeing consistent severe weather, which means consistent rain as well. Let's take this graphic full so you can see the full thing. As you see, from the West Coast to the East Coast, we are seeing drought conditions. Down in Georgia, that's where, in Florida, that's where some of the worst drought is. From Panama City Beach all the way up through southern Georgia, and now in the portions of extreme southern South Carolina, where most of the state of Georgia in at least an extreme drought, if not exceptional drought, that is the highest level of drought you can get, and that, as you see, is in southern Georgia. Now, I want to talk about our local area, because North Carolina, this is the latest update that we got from the Weather Service this morning. This tweet was put out, yesterday morning. This tweet was put out around 10 a.m. on your Thursday, because the drought monitor updates every Thursday. And it says that exceptional drought in North Carolina is new. About 1% of the area underneath exceptional drought, and I'll put out my little pointer here if I can get it, or you can see it right here near Charlotte, where you have that deeper red color, that's exceptional drought. Extreme drought has increased to about 54% of North Carolina, which is over half, which is that brighter red color from Raleigh through Charlotte, through the Appalachian Mountains, heading towards the Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina border. And then severe drought is across much of North Carolina, about 4%, and moderate drought, which is that very, very light color for northeastern North Carolina. That's the only area in in North Carolina that has that moderate drought. That's at 5%. Now looking to Virginia, that extreme drought continues to expand now through Emporia, South Boston, up through Lynchburg. For us here in Hampton Roads, we're kind of in that bubble, still underneath that moderate drought. We have extreme drought to our west, severe drought to our north and west, so places around the northern peninsula, middle peninsula, northern neck, eastern shore, all underneath that severe drought. We need at least 4 inches of rainfall in Hampton Roads, because we are down 4 inches since just March 1st, but really area-wide we need at least 8 inches of rainfall to quell this drought, and we won't get that even though rain is on the way as we get into this weekend. Now, in Nevada, temperatures are beginning to climb as summer approaches. Local leaders in Las Vegas are now discussing ways to reduce heat impacts for transit riders, drivers, and pedestrians. The Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada has unveiled a simulator weather to show what riders may deal with on days when temperatures soar more than 120 degrees. The agency invests $10 million a year to install shade structures at nearly 4,000 transit stops. RTC is also planning to arrange new dual directional shelters that will provide shade as well.
We're getting hotter earlier. We have more 100 days over 100 degrees in southern Nevada. That's the scale of the crisis that we're dealing with. We need to keep our public and our transit riders safe. We do know that shade is the most important thing to cooling down the street. So that's new transit shelters and that's street trees.
The Clark County, in 2024, the Clark County coroner in Nevada reported more than 500 deaths that were due to heat-related causes. As you look live outside, the weekend outlook for Hampton Roads is coming up after the break. Plus, I'll go over a little bit of some weather highlights from April and what we can expect for May. Welcome back. Let's talk about your week ahead, and also let's talk about what we did in April when it comes to making records. We had a couple of days where we had record high temperatures soaring to the 90s during the middle of the month. We also had one of the driest Aprils on record. We broke into the top 10. We got exactly 1 inch of rainfall this past month in April, which ties for the 8th driest April in Norfolk ever, obviously well above that very dry year in 1985 where they only got about less than half an inch of rainfall then in Norfolk, but record-breaking dryness. Now, we will start off the first of the month with some sunshine, but we get into the rest of the month, and that's where we start to see some rainfall coming through starting tomorrow. We're pleasant to end the work week, but then the rain is likely on Saturday, and then by Sunday we're dry again as warmth returns and sort of sunshine. After Sunday, even though Sunday won't be nearly as warm as we should be for this time of year, we're going to be soaring above normal by the middle of next week. From your Thompson Creek Window Company Sky View, here's a look from downtown Norfolk. You can see the cloud cover taking over portion of the sky, but some blue skies starting to peek through from those thin clouds. Temperatures right now in Norfolk in the upper 50s. Inland, we're in those 40s, but we're going to stay cool today because of this. Wind direction is always super important. We're going to have north winds today, 10 to 20 miles per hour behind our cold front that rolled through late last night into early this morning. That is bringing us that cooler air. So highs today will struggle to climb around the coast. We'll be sitting in the mid-60s at best. Around places inland, I-95 will be in the mid to upper 60s as you see a mix of sun and clouds throughout your Friday. Now you can see the cloud cover being reflected on our satellite. Our radar showing a few isolated showers offshore of the Outer Banks. Our cold front continuing to push to the south as high pressure briefly takes over for today. But I'm watching for this low pressure system here. This is going to be a coastal low that rides up the Carolina coast, bringing us rainfall for tomorrow, but it's a very specific portion of our viewing area that will see the bulk of the rain. So walking you through your Saturday and Sunday, you can see that the rain begins to build early on Saturday morning for the Outer Banks and places south of the Albemarle Sound. We get to around 7 to 8 a.m. and the rain continues to spread to the north, starting to encompass the south side by the late morning, right around 9:45 to 10 a.m. Now we're going to have this invisible line from the southern eastern shore through the peninsula, through the James River, and down the western south side. Any places north and west of that invisible line will be dry. Anything south and east of there will be seeing some constant light to moderate rainfall. By about 2:30, the rainfall really starts to subside around the south side, but continues for North Carolina. And then we'll see scattered showers throughout the night on Saturday into early Sunday morning for North Carolina as well. So North Carolina, as you can tell, is the bullseye for this rainfall. Overall, we're going to pick up maybe half an inch of rainfall to up to an inch of rainfall for places around North Carolina. The numbers really thin out as you head north and west. Around the western and south side, maybe a trace amount, but you head towards the eastern south side, maybe 1/10 of an inch to up to a quarter at best. That's about it. So definitely not a soaking rain by any means, but enough of a nuisance to kind of break up your weekend a bit. So here's a look at the weekend, and as I told you, it's a 50-50 weekend, meaning that one day is better than the other. So Saturday, our best chance of rain is south and east. It's going to be for North Carolina, the eastern and central south side. By Sunday, we clear out, leaving us with mostly sunny skies, and temperatures will be a bit warmer, mid-60s. But our normal high temperature for this time of year is around 74 to 75 degrees. So we still will be below normal today through Sunday. It's not until Monday where the sunshine continues and we warm very quickly. Highs on Monday in the mid-70s. By Tuesday, we're in the low 80s, and we stay in the low 80s through Wednesday. But on Wednesday, we have another chance for some isolated showers in the mix. Those isolated showers do continue into Thursday as highs drop back near normal. So if you're heading out to the Norfolk Wine Festival and you haven't bought your ticket yet, I would suggest going on Sunday, just so you can avoid the rain. But rain or shine, we drink wine, so the wine festival will still be ongoing even with the rain. But again, the rain will be mainly on the light to moderate side, and it should taper off by about 2 to 3 p.m. Wine tasting ends at 4:30. Now, for the latest news and weather, make sure to download the 13 News Now app on your phone. Scan the QR code on your screen to download it for free from the App Store and Google Play. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson. Thank you so much for joining me on the Weather Desk today, and meteorologist Craig Muller will be back on Monday to host the Weather Desk here on 13 News Now Plus. Have a great weekend.